Hi everyone, I'm Cat Coloring. Welcome to another video. This time it's an unboxing and swatching and testing of some of my new coloring pencils, the Black Widow Dragon set. 36 new coloring pencils. I can't wait to open this one. So, let's see what hides in this tin box. And I think I will just take my scissors and cut this open. Wow. So we have here a lovely tin box with a dragon on it. And can take the lid off. And here they are. And still protected. It's in some plastic sheeting here. Well, it's certainly really sealed behind all of this plastic. Okay, so what do we have here? Pencil here. So if you are a regular at my channel, you will know that I have unboxed and swatched several of these Black Widow pencils. So you know the drill. You can see here with this one, beautiful, beautiful turquoise, seemingly with the paint here. It's black as usual. The wood is black. We have this blunt tip here. You can see here. So we will have to sharpen them all before we get started swatching. And then we can see here a little drawing of a dragon. And then it says dragon, pleasant blue, DG 149. So we have the number here, and this is actually not a turquoise, it's actually a blue one, pleasant blue. And you can clearly see here that this tip of the pencil does absolutely not match what is painted here. Blue and a turquoise color. So we will have to swatch them all. But first I will sharpen these, then I will swatch them, and we will discuss the colors, or I will discuss the colors, and then we will test them in different coloring books to see how they perform in different coloring books. So I have sharpened all of my pencils, and I actually was in for a surprise. As you can see here, there is a hole in this tray, and that's because the number 33 Sundown, I actually have two of them. You can see here, Sundown 133, Sundown 133. Two of them. Completely identical. And that means that I am missing a pencil in this set. And it's the manufacturer's mistake. Somehow I got two of the 133, and this means that I don't have the number 132 Rust Light. I have two Sundowns and no Rust Light. Wow, that was certainly a disappointment. So I have tried to write to the support mail. So I certainly hope that they will get back to me and I somehow can get a hold of this pencil. Otherwise, I don't have all of the Black Widow pencils. I am actually missing one. That's really so bad. Well, we must soldier on, and I will swatch the pencils regardless of this. And I will do so quickly to music, and then we will look at the colors and see how they are. Okay, so all of the colors except the missing one are swatched now, and as you can see, we have some very, very lovely colors here. We have one normal yellow, I would say mellow yellow, a nice yellow color. Then we have some more dark yellow colors, a couple of, actually I would call them skin tones or peachy colors. The Rust Light, I have absolutely no idea what it looks like. We have some dark oranges here, and then we have some lovely pinks and purples. Or actually not purples, more magenta-like here. The crimson and ruby rose, really nice. Some dark reds also. Lovely light greens. We have the calm lime. It's sort of a light lime color. We have the zombie. Who knew that zombie would be a green color? We have some darker greens here, especially saber, a very dark teal color here. We have wizard also, and then we have just one light blue color, pleasant blue. But we also had a lot of blue colors in some of the other sets. So we have some lilac colors here, Picasso Sky and Blue Tongue. This is sort of a blue lilac, blue purple color, very light, and then a more lilac color here, Blue Tongue, light lilac. We have one gray, the cobblestone. This one I thought was a gray, was actually a blue gray. Dark Night, this one. I will show you in just a minute what I mean with that. And then we have some very nice brown colors. The dungeon is actually sort of a very dark mossy green. I would never have guessed that from the color on the pencil. And the golden one I thought was some sort of a gold is cardboard, and it's actually in the same color family as the dungeon. So this is a 180 pencils color family chart from colorwithclaire.com. The Black Widow collections, you can see the empty boxes are the colors that I haven't opened yet. The boxes, the two boxes with the skin tones, the light and the dark skin tones, and I'm going to make a video about them shortly because I'm going to make a how to color skin, both light and dark skin, coming up on my channel this spring. So that's coming. But you can see here the different color families. You can see here from the light yellows, some, actually I would call them some sort of skin colors also here, or very light peachy colors. We also have some like peach and some sort of pink colors here. I don't know what saffron and sherbet is like because I haven't got those colors. We have all of the oranges here, goes from the orange, light rust, so that must be an orange color, all the way to bloodshot, and these last colors are red. We have some more golden yellows up here and some normal oranges here, or orange colors. Then we have the pinks. We have some sort of magenta-like colors here, and also here pink and magenta. We have some purples here, we have the blues here, and we have actually a lot of greens. So if you look at all of these colors here in the Black Widow, we can see that there are a lot of yellow, orange, red, pink colors, magenta-like colors, not actually a lot of blue colors. We only have here the Picasso Sky, some sort of a purple blue color, all the way here through to the ocean. If you can see here, we have the Cat's Eye, Dark Night, and Zephyr Blue. I thought that the Dark Night was some sort of gray color because of the paint on the pencil, but you can actually see here it's a, you see it closer up. Here you can see it's actually a blue grayish color. Cat's Eye is a gray green color, and here we have the Zephyr Blue, which is a very dark blue gray color. Down here we have a lot of green colors of all sorts, from the turquoise to teals, normal greens to the more lime greenish, and down here we have these sort of mossy olive greenish colors, cardboard. I thought it was a golden, but it's actually a sort of olive color, light bronze, olive gold, cobra, and dungeon. And dungeon was this color from this dragon set here that I thought was some sort of brown, but it is actually quite a dark mossy green color, almost brownish in the tones. I think that we will have some sort of start with light tones here, and suede leather and olive brown. I think it's some of the darker skin tones here. We have some very nice brown colors here and some grays down here, but you can see that the blue colors are not dominant in the Black Widow collection. It's more the golden, yellow colors, orange and pink colors here, and the greens. They have a lot of greens, and then a lot of brown, red brown, dark brown, light brown colors here, and more skin tones down here, and some grays here. So it will be very interesting to open the last two boxes and look at all of the skin colors, but that will be for another video. Suffice it to say that the dragon set here has certainly not disappointed with all of these very beautiful colors. But you also noticed perhaps that when I swatched them, there was a lot of pencil dust. As I discovered in my last review video of the Castle Art pastel tin sets, this printing paper is not actually very good to use. It's okay for swatching, but if you really want to know what these pencils are all about and how they perform on the paper, you have to test them in different coloring books. So that is what the last part of this video is going to be, a test of these pencils in different coloring books on different paper to see how they perform. Do they dust as much? How much do they cover? How many layers do you need before they cover? How do they blend and all that? So let's get started with that. Okay, so we are going to be testing the coloring pencils in, you know, the book Magical Jungle by Johanna Basford, this double spread page here with all of the leaves. And I have chosen 3 different colors. The lightest one, Mellow Yellow, 131. And the middle color, Calm Lime, 143. And the color Zombie, 142 as the darkest color. It's actually not that dark, but let's see how it works. So we're going to be coloring one of these leaves, and well, you can see here that both of these other leaves here, they are colored with the darkest color at the edge of the leaf, and then the lightest color here at the center of the leaf. Also this one. So I think that I will do it the other way around this time. I want to color with the lightest color at the edges and the darkest color at the innermost part of the leaf. So what leaf to choose? It's actually a bit difficult because we have all of these patterns, but I think that I will just ignore the patterns and then start to color. So I will take the Zombie. And you can clearly see this is not a dark color. It's actually quite a light color compared to some of the other greens I have used here. And I will just be coloring some of this. Oh, a little tiny bit of pencil dust here. And I will not be coloring the edges here or the ribbons here because I want to color that with some of my metallic gel pens. I've done it with the other leaves and I want it to, well, look a bit of the same, even though this is a sort of a test page. And it actually is quite easy to work with the Black Widows in this book. It doesn't cover completely, I can already tell here by the first. So, the Calm Lime. And you can see that this is a lighter color. but it's really easy to work with them and sort of, you know, blend up into the zombie color. So let's see about the mellow yellow. I think it's actually one of the funniest thing, or not funny, but interesting thing about these pencils is the names. I mean, who would call a color zombie or dragon breath or nail polish or bubblegum from one of the other sets of Black Widows? I think it's actually, it makes these pencils a bit more interesting with all of these names. But you know from my other videos about the Black Widows that I really, really, really like them. So this was the first layer, and I will take it up so that you can see it better. You can clearly see that we can see the white of the paper here. So one layer is not enough to color this paper. So let's see how many layers we're going to be needing. So I will take the zombie color again, and I will concentrate here on this part of the leaf, and I will add a second layer. And you can see that the second layer already pops a bit more out compared to the other places with a first layer, the calm lime, and the mellow yellow. And let's take another part of the leaf. Oh, the colors are very similar on the paint here between these two green pencils. It's really a bit annoying, so we will have to concentrate on the lead here. So I think that I will take this one next to it. So another second layer here of the zombie, another layer of the calm lime, and another layer here of the mellow yellow. So you can see they blend well, actually. So this was a second layer, and you can clearly see that, of course, it covers a lot more of the paper here than with just one layer. But let's add a third layer. And I will add the third layer here. With the zombie, then the calm lime. It is sort of a light lime peel. It reminds me of the lime peel of the Prismacolors. So it's sort of a bit lighter lime. You can see here we have just a little bit of some pencil dust here in this book, but it doesn't come as a surprise. Last time I tested pencils in this book, it was the Castle Art pastel tints, and there was also more paper dust in this book. It wasn't a lot, but more in this book than compared to Hanne Carlsen's books or Maria Trolle's books. So it really doesn't surprise me. It's the paper here, kind of like the printing paper I made my swatch chart on. There was a lot of paper dust on that. The third layer of the yellow. So here we can see first layer here, clearly see the paper. Second layer, we can still see the paper, not as much. And the third layer, I would say that the third layer covers the paper. I think I can see the white here 2 places, but otherwise it really covers the paper here. So let's add a fourth layer. Fourth layer here of zombie, and the fourth layer here of the calm lime, and then the 4th layer of the mellow yellow. And here we go. So you can clearly see that all of the paper is completely covered now with 4 layers. So 4 layers and it's covered. A little bit of paper dust, but you can also see that the colors blend very, very easily and nicely into each other. It's probably, I think, one of the easiest coloring pencils to blend with, these Black Widows. I think that they are actually perhaps just a little bit easier to do than the Prismacolors. So if we compare to this leaf with the Prismacolors, you can clearly see a difference. This leaf here, I have used 6 different colors, from a dark orange and all the way to the yellow here. I think it was the lemon yellow and canary yellow, and the sunburst yellow, the Spanish orange, and one of the other oranges, and then I can't remember the dark color, but 6 colors to color this leaf, and you can see the transitions from each color to the next. And here we have only 3 colors, but you cannot hardly see the transitions here, I would say, compared to the Prismacolors. It is easier to see the transitions here than here. So I stay with what I just said, that the Black Widows are actually easier to blend than the Prismacolors. So that was the coloring test here in this book. 4 layers to cover the paper completely, a little bit of dust, and very easy to blend here on this sort of paper. Let's try the next one. Next coloring test we have in Twilight Garden by Maria Trolle. And just have to get the lid away. So we have here my test page with all of these various flowers and leaves. And I have chosen 4 different colors. I want to color this flower and this sort of leaf. So I have chosen the Crimson Stone 155 for the flower, and the Ruby Rose 159 also for the flower. And for the leaf I have chosen Fizz 147 and a darker color Wizard 140. So we will take the Ruby Rose, it's the darkest color, and color here in the middle of this flower. So the Ruby Rose. And again, they are also very easy to work with here, these Black Widow pencils. No pencil dust. But you can also see that 1 layer here is not enough to cover the paper. You can still see a lot of the paper here through this color, so we will have to add another layer. And I think that I want to use a couple of these leaves, so I will give a second layer here and here to these 2 of the petals, and another layer, number 2 here, of the Ruby Rose. And here. And this makes a huge difference. You can already see here clearly, both up close and up from a distance, that it's way more covered now. We can still see some of the paper, but it covers a great deal more here. So I will add a second layer here to this petal, And now I will add a third layer to this petal. So 1 layer, 2 layers, and 3 layers. I think you can see that 3 layers. Now you can see a little bit of the paper, but not much. So if I add a 4th layer to this one, a 3rd one to this one, I think that we will see the difference. So a 3rd layer here. And now, well, I don't think that I will need that because it was actually covered. Now we get a little bit here with the 4th layer, a little bit of dust from the pencil. But only now. So 1 layer, 2 layers, 1 layer you can see a lot of the paper, 2 layers you can still see the paper, 3 layers, well, it's almost covered, and 4th layer you cannot see the paper anymore. This paper in this book, it's more coarse, a bit more coarse than the paper in Johanna Basford's books, and it also has a different tone. It's not white as her paper. The paper in her books is very white, but the paper in Maria Trolle's book has a different tone. It has a sort of a yellowish tone. In Danish it would be called råhvid, like in some sort of a raw white. I think it's more creamy because I don't think that it has this grayish tone that you see in raw white. It is more of a little yellow tone, so I would say it's a bit more creamy here, this paper. So, but 4 layers, and the dust only came when I added the 4th layer. So I think that perhaps we could say that 3 layers would suffice in this book. So we have this leaf, and we have the fizz and the wizard colors. And from the names, you would never guess that it was that you would speak about green colors, fizz and wizard. Well, I think that I want to begin with the wizard, the darkest one. And I will just color some of this leaf here. And again, it's very, very easy to work with in this book. But I just think that the black wizard pencils are very easy to work with and all. Then we take the fizz and add it here. And I'm just moving in these circular movements. So we can see again, no dust, only if you color too much in this book. And you can also see the white of the paper. For after 1 layer, we can still see it shining through. So let's add a 2nd layer to the lower parts here of the fern leaf. So that was a 2nd layer of the wizard, and now a 2nd layer of this fizz color. So 1 layer, 2 layers, we can still see the white of the paper, but the 2nd layer actually gives a very good coverage. So if you don't want to cover it all, you could just stop at 2 layers. You don't have to layer it 3 times if you don't want to. but I want to for the sake of testing. So I will take the wizard yet again, and I will add a third layer to these parts here. So 1 layer, 2 layers, 3 layers, and a third layer here of the whoops. Well, as Johanna Basford says, it doesn't matter if you color over the lines. I just did there. So 3 layers. I actually didn't do it so well here. 3 layers. So 1 layer, 2 layer, 3 layers, and you can clearly see here now with the 3 layers, you don't actually have to cover it anymore. You don't have to add a 4th layer because you can't really see the paper anymore. I will just, for the sake of the test, add a 4th layer down here. Did it create some dust? Yes, it did. There was a little bit of a dust here, like the flower. So 1 layer, you can see the paper. 2 layers, it covers a lot. 3 layers is enough. If you add a 4th layer, then you get this dust from the pencil. And perhaps some smudge marks. You can see here, it's actually here, down here. Ugh. I colored too much, so it's a bit smudgy there. So 3 layers in Maria Trolle's book here. That's more than enough on this paper. 3 layers. And then you will have absolutely no dust from the pencils, and you will have such a great coverage. Even 2 layers covers the paper a lot in this book. Well done, Black Widows, I must say. Very good. So let's try it in the 3rd book. So the last book we are going to use for the coloring test is Tales from the Witch's Cottage by Hannah Carlson. And the very last page in this book has some lovely butterflies. So I thought that I would color just a couple of these butterflies. And I have chosen 4 new colors. I think that we need some blue, so I have chosen Pleasant Blue 149 and Picasso Sky 150 for one of the butterflies, and the other Lady Jane 154, a nice light pink color, and this Blue Tongue 157. And Blue Tongue was this sort of light lilac color here, and the Lady Jane here. So let's see how these pencils work here. I think that I want to start with the Pleasant Blue. And I will take this first of the butterflies and just color with the blue. And then this Picasso Sky. Which is also a light color. And that looks very nice. You can see here that oh, and it's very light. It doesn't cover the paper completely, but especially the blue one has a nice coverage already with the first layer and no dust. So let's see what a second layer will do. I will just add a second layer to this side. And we can already see a difference now between this side and this side with the blue color. So let's try another layer of the Picasso Sky. Really a nice color, this one. It reminds me of some sort of pastel color. And yes, look at the difference here between one layer and 2 layers. What a lovely coverage. I wonder what will happen if we color it one more time, because it's actually difficult to see. I can see with the Picasso sky, I can see just a bit of the paper. But it's not much. So this one we will cover with a 3rd layer. And please notice no dust from the pencils. So here, 1 layer, 2 layers and a 3rd layer, and it really doesn't need a 4th layer at all, because it covers completely. So if you don't want it to cover completely, you can actually just do 2 layers in this book, and then you have such a nice coverage with this color and no dust. I think that's what you call a win. A win-win, perhaps. Yeah. I think that we will start here with the Lady Jane. This nice pink color. And then the blue tongue, which isn't actually blue, it's lilac. And look at that. 1 layer again. Very nice coverage. I would actually say that the blue tongue covers a bit more than the Picasso sky, probably because these colors are very light. The blue and the sort of purple blue up here, whereas the pink here and the lilac here actually covers a bit more, especially the lilac. You can see with the pink, we can still see a lot of the paper through this pink. So let's give it another layer, and again I choose this side for the 2nd layer. And here. You can also see they still blend beautifully in this book. And look here. 1 layer, 2 layers. Just a little bit of the white here. So if you don't want it, just give a 3rd layer here. You can just add a 3rd layer. Look here. 1, 2, 3. Well, I think it's a matter of what you want, because you could easily just settle for 2 layers here instead of 3. There is hardly any difference between layer 2 and 3 compared to 1 layer and 2 layers. So if you just want a light layer, then 1 is actually sufficient in this book, and you can see they blend very nicely, these colors. If you want it to stand more out, you can add a 2nd layer. I think it's debatable if you want the 3rd layer in this book, because there is hardly any difference. I'm not sure that I would add a 3rd layer if I chose to finish all of this drawing with the Black Widow dragon pencils. I don't think it's necessary. I think the 2 layers are more than enough. And no dust here. Okay. Wow. So a little bit about this paper. It's a bit thicker than the one in Maria Trolle's books. And this is also not a white paper. This also has this yellowish tone, so it's sort of creamy. So it's not completely white. And I think that it is very easy to work in this book on this paper with a lot of different pencils. This one I colored with the Caran d'Ache Luminance For example, this one I did with Prismacolors, and one of this one here I did with the Arteza triangular grip. I have a review of those pencils on my channel, and that's where this drawing is from actually. And the background is with watercolors. But you can see here with the paper, watercolors, it's a thick paper, but I'm not sure that I want to use watercolors on it. It gets a bit wrinkly. But that's it. That was test number 3. Okay, so what have we learned about the Black Widow dragons? Well, absolutely wonderful colors as well. All of the Black Widow pencils actually have very nice colors. And performance. Paper in Magical Jungle. Up to 4 layers, a little bit of dust. And very nice coverage with 3 and 4 layers. But 4 if you really want to cover that paper completely. Twilight Garden, a thicker paper, a little bit more coarse, and a yellowish tone to it. You can see here this very nice flower and this fern leaf. 3 layers, no more. Absolutely no more, because 3 layers is quite enough to cover the entire paper, and no dust in this book. And this one, 2 layers, perhaps 3 layers if you really want to, but you can settle for 2 layers, and the coverage is so beautifully. They blend beautifully. This paper also a bit coarser than the paper in Johanna Basford books, and also with this yellowish tone and no dust here. So a great performance on this paper in coloring books, which are a little bit more coarse and have this yellowish tone. And if you use it on white paper like this paper on my swatch chart, the thin printing paper, normal paper, and Johanna Basford's books white paper, there you have to add a little bit more in the layering, a bit more layers, and they dust a little bit, these pencils. But otherwise, absolutely perfect. So, okay, so that was it for today. Oh, about the missing pencil, actually, I wrote to a support mail for Black Widow, where I got in touch with a man called Albert, and he promised to send me this Rust Light immediately. So I think it's in Australia, perhaps, the Black Widow. At least I think that it will take me a couple of weeks until I get that pencil, but I cannot wait until I get the Rust Light, because then I will truly have all of the pencils of the Black Widow. Well, this turned actually out to be some sort of review of these pencils, but it was actually meant to be just an unboxing, swatching and testing. But my enthusiasm for these pencils will not wither. I am very happy about these pencils. I think that they are very good value for the money. They have such great colors. They blend easily and beautifully, and you don't have to layer them as much as other coloring pencils like the Castle Arts, for example. So, really worth the money. So, that was it for today. As I said before, hope you would like this video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Also share this with other people who want information about the Black Widow pencils. Anyway, I will see you in the next video. Have a nice day. Happy coloring. Bye.